ब्रह्मनाथ। ओम शांति शांति शांति। स्वस्थ। Hello students, in the previous class we discussed two diseases. One is your ascariasis, other one is your typhoid. We know ascariasis is a helminthes disorder caused by the nematode Ascaris lumbricoides, whereas the typhoid is being caused by a rod-shaped gram-negative bacteria that is called your Salmonella typhi. Then further we discussed the mode of infection, symptoms, treatment, diagnosis and treatment, and also lastly we discussed the prevention and the control. Today we will discuss two more diseases. One is your pneumonia, other one is your common cold. So let's first discuss what is pneumonia. Simply, pneumonia is we can say it is a breathing disorder caused by basically by the bacteria. Also various viruses also cause the pneumonia. Okay, pneumonia, which is we can say in the case of the pneumonia, the inflammation of the lungs takes place as the pathogens directly attack the lungs. Okay, inflammation of the lungs takes place by which as the pathogen directly attacks the lungs. It is also an airborne disease as it can spread through the water droplets or aerosols, etc. Okay. So first point, pneumonia is caused by the bacteria. Okay, pneumonia is caused by the bacteria such as Diplococcus pneumonia, Streptococcus pneumonia, Haemophilus influenza, such as Diplococcus pneumonia. Okay, then Streptococcus pneumonia. Haemophilus influenza. Okay, also by the another one is your mycoplasma, in which cell wall is absent. But pneumonia is also caused by the various viruses also. Pneumonia is also caused by viruses also. Okay. Next point, the incubation period is about 1 to 3 weeks. Okay, the incubation period is about 1 to 3 weeks. Incubation period means it is the gap in between which the person get exposed to the disease. Okay, and also the period when he or she show the first noticeable symptoms. That gap is your incubation period. So the incubation period in the case of pneumonia is about 1 to 3 weeks. The pathogen in the case of the pneumonia causes inflammation in the lungs. The pathogen in the case of pneumonia causes inflammation in the lungs. In the lungs, as the pathogen directly attacks the lungs. Okay, so these are your general points. First point, pneumonia is generally it is caused by the various bacteria such as your Diplococcus pneumonia, okay, Diplococcus pneumonia, Streptococcus pneumonia, Haemophilus influenza, okay, or Mycoplasma in which the cell wall is absent. Pneumonia is also caused by the viruses also, and the incubation period in the case of the pneumonia is about 1 to 3 weeks, and the pathogen in the case of the pneumonia causes the inflammation in the lungs, okay. By which that is why we always say it is a respiratory disorder, we can say the breathing problems occurs in the case of the pneumonia patient. Why the inflammation in the lungs causes? Because as the pathogen directly attacks the lungs. Okay, please note down. Next, come to your various modes of infection of the pneumonia. First point in the modes of infection. It is an airborne disease. First point, it is an airborne disease. Okay, as why it is airborne? Because it can spread throughout our environment by the form of the simply the air droplets or the aerosols, etc. Okay, so we can say it can spread through air droplets or aerosols, okay. Means it is the form of a water droplet or solid particles or the droplets by which it can act as a main mode for the transmission of this pathogen, okay. Third point, the bacterial cyst, which is the main reason for the spreading of the pneumonia, can be spreaded due to the sputum of the infected person. Bacterial cyst can spread through the sputum. Sputum means it is the mixture of the saliva and the mucus from the throat or the lungs, okay. Bacterial cyst can be spread through the sputum of the infected person, okay. Next point, it can also be spread through, or we can say through the used utensils or substances by the infected persons. Means as we said, it is an airborne disorder or it is basically caused by the bacteria. Means suppose one person is using such utensils or one person is using various substances, and if that same substance will be used by a healthy person, then obviously the bacteria, it is an airborne disease, the bacteria can be also spread from the infected person to another healthy person, okay. So we can say it can also be spread through the contaminated utensils, through the contaminated utensils used by the utensils, or we can say substances, utensils or contaminated substances used by the infected person. Okay. Lastly, it is more common in the case of the old age persons. Last point, it is more common in the case of the old age persons. Okay. So these are your various mode of infection. First one is, it is an airborne disease, means it can normally spread in our environment, and second point, it can spread through various water droplets or aerosols. Next point, bacterial cyst can spread through the sputum. Sputum means it is a mixture of the saliva and the mucus from the throat or the lungs. Okay, from the of the infected person. It can also be spread through the contaminated utensils, contaminated substances used by the infected person. And lastly, it is more common in the case of the age, is the more common in the case of the aged persons. Okay, please note down. Students, now come to the various symptoms, diagnosis, treatment and the prevention control. Before going to the symptoms, please correct one thing in the introduction portion of the pneumonia. I have told the incubation period is 1 to 3 weeks, not 1 to 3 days. Please change it immediately. The incubation period of the pathogen in the case of the pneumonia is the 1 to 3 days. Please change it immediately. Okay. Now come to symptoms. So, various noticeable symptoms are being seen in the case of the pneumonia. As we know, it is a breathing disorder. Obviously, the high coughing will arise. Okay. Mucus color is rusty or green color due to the bacteriums. Next, fast breathing, breathlessness, as it is the discomfort of the breathing. So, the fast breathing and the breathlessness are the most important symptoms of the pneumonia. Obviously, if the fast breathing and the breathlessness will occur, then obviously your heartbeat will be also fast. Then next symptoms is the tiredness and overall weakness. Next symptom is your nausea and the vomiting. Nausea means it is the tendency to vomit. Okay, it is an urge to vomit. Nausea and the vomiting are also one of the important symptoms of the pneumonia. Okay, next. Obviously, as it is related to the lungs disorder, then the noticeable symptoms in the case of the pneumonia is your chest pain. Okay, next. How we can diagnose this pneumonia? It can be diagnosed by the help of the physical examination. It can be diagnosed by the help of the blood test. Or we can do the chest x-ray, as it is the main symptoms is the chest pain and it is related to the inflammation or the pathogens attack to the lungs. So the chest x-ray we can also do. In extreme case, we can go for the analysis of the mucus from the lungs. In the extreme case, we can go for the analysis from the mucus from the lungs. Next, what are the various treatments? For the pneumonia, various antibiotics are being found, such as penicillin, flucloxacillin. Then the various conventional medical medicines are also work, such as your normal hot boiled water, or we can say turmeric water. These are various important conventional treatment. Okay, and also antibiotic such as penicillin and the flucloxacillin. Okay, next. What are the various prevention and control? As we know that the prevention is better than the cure. So obviously, the infected person who is suffering from the pneumonia should be perfectly isolated from the healthy persons. Means he should be using different utensils, he should be using different substances, he will only or she will only use that substances, and regularly sanitization must be done. Okay, so the main prevention and control of the pneumonia is simple. The isolation of the patient is highly required. Okay, so various symptoms are being seen, such as high coughing, Mucus color is rusty or green in color due to the bacterium. Fast breathing, breathlessness, then the fast heartbeat, tiredness, weakness, nausea, vomiting. Okay, then the chest pain, and the various diagnosis we can do by the physical physical examination, blood test, chest X-ray. In extreme case, we can go for analysis of the mucus from the lungs. And for the treatment purpose, you can use the antibiotics such as penicillin and the flucloxacillin, and the conventional medicines or can also be worked by using the hot water, boiled water, or the turmeric water. And lastly, in the prevention and control, the isolation of the patient is highly required as it is an airborne disease. Okay, please note down. Next, come to your another disease, that is your common cold. Common cold is also known as your rhinitis. You all are aware it is the most common disease. Okay, so first point, it is the most common disease found in the case of the human. It is the most common disease found in the case of the humans. Okay. Okay, we know common cold is what is the most common the disease which is found in the case of the human. Second, the common cold, or we can say this disease, is generally caused by the viruses called rhinovirus. Okay, it is caused by the viruses called rhinovirus. Okay, and about 200 species of virus cause the common cold. About 200 species of viruses cause the common cold. Cause the common cold. In some cases also, small bacterium also cause the common cold. In some cases, small bacterium also cause the common cold. Okay, now come to the incubation period. The incubation period in the case of the common cold is about, it can be from 1 hour to 1 day, or we can say few days. The incubation period is about 1 hour to 1 day, or it can be up to few days. Okay, now come to your mode of infection, means how it can be spread. Firstly, as it is similar to the pneumonia, it is an airborne disease. It is an airborne disease, means it can be also spread in the environment. Next, it can be spread by the help of the water droplets or the aerosols. It can be spread by droplets or aerosols. Okay. Next, this common cold disease can be spread due to the contaminated the pen, books, we can say the computers, or we can say various contaminated substances used by the infected person. This can spread due to use of contaminated pens, books, computers, or various other substances used by the infected person. Used by the infected person. Okay. So these are your various, we can say, introduction portion in the mode of infection. So first point, common cold, as we know, it is the most common disease found in the case of the human. It is caused by the various, generally it is caused by the viruses, which is known as the rhinovirus. So it is also known as, the common cold is also known as a rhinitis. And about 200 species of virus can cause the common cold. Okay, and in some cases also small bacterium can also cause the common cold. In the incubation period, it can be from 1 hour to 1 day or up to few days. Next, what are the various mode of infection? As it is similar to the pneumonia, it is an airborne disease, means it can generally spread in our environment. Okay. Next point, it can obviously, as it is an airborne disease, it can also be spread by the various water droplets or in the form of the aerosols. Lastly, the main cause, or we can say one of the important mode of infection of the common cold is, it can be spread by the use of the contaminated, if the infected person is using one pen, or he is or she using one book, or he or she is using one computer, and another healthy person will come and use the desktop or laptop or that pen or that book, or we can say various substances which are used by the infected person. As it was used by the infected person, it was contaminated. So if it will be reused by another person without sterilization, then obviously that viruses or the bacterium will be spread from the infected person to the healthy person. Okay, so these are your various, the introduction portion of the common cold, which is also known as the rhinitis, and also the various mode of the infection of the common cold. Okay, please note down. Now come to here, we can say the symptoms of the common cold. Obviously, the symptoms, you know all the symptoms. It is very general, simple what? Coughing, nasal discharge, headache, coughing. Okay, then the nasal discharge. Nasal discharge, then we can say nasal discharge, weakness, tiredness, then the headache. Okay, nasal discharge, coughing, tiredness, headache. Then we can say the pathogen in the case of the common cold, they directly attack to the nasal epithelium part of the, we can say, nasal epithelium area, which is the upper part of the respiratory tract. The pathogens directly attack to the nasal epithelium part, epithelium area, which is the upper portion, or which is the upper portion of the respiratory tract, which is the upper portion of the respiratory tract. Okay. Next point. The pathogens as directly attack to the nasal epithelium. Nasal epithelium is your by which the nasal, or we can say the discharge occurs, and also the nasal epithelium is the upper part of the respiratory tract. Next point, these pathogens does not attack the lungs. These pathogens does not attack the lungs. Okay, so these are your various symptoms. Then we will go for the, we can say, the treatment. Obviously, the common treatment in the case of the common cold is use of the antibiotics. The antibiotic, the most used antibiotic in the case of the common cold is your azithromycin. Antibiotic which is used is your azithromycin. and Sectra, and various other antibiotics are also used, but the most common is your azithromycin. And lastly, the prevention and control. Obviously, the same prevention and control you can be also tell, that is the we can say the isolation of the patient is highly required. The isolation of the patient is highly required, okay, as it is an airborne disease and it can also be spread. So the isolation is highly required in the case of the common cold. Next point, the proper sanitization, okay, proper sanitization of the contaminated substances used by the infected person. We can say proper sanitization of the contaminated substances used by the infected person. Okay. So these are your various prevention and control. So you can simply, we have discussed the prevention and control means in the case of the main prevention and control is your isolation of the patient is highly required. Then the proper sanitization, or you can write the sterilization, okay, proper sanitization or the sterilization of the contaminated substances used by the infected person. Okay. So one confusion can be arise that what is the main difference if the symptoms are same, prevention are also same in the case of the pneumonia and also common cold. Main symptom, or we can say it is the main difference between the pneumonia and the common cold is, pneumonia is a very severe form, okay, and the common cold is not very much severe. In the pneumonia, it is the breathing problem, but in the case of the pneumonia, the pathogens does not, in the pneumonia, the pathogens attack to the lungs, whereas in the case of the common cold, the pathogens does not attack to the lungs. Okay, so you should not be confusing about, as we are writing the symptoms, some are similar to the pneumonia in the case of the common cold. In the common cold also we are writing the prevention which are similar to the pneumonia. But the main difference you must remember that the pneumonia is the most severe form than as compared to the common cold, and in the pneumonia the lung is being directly attacked by the pathogens, in which it causes the inflammation of the lungs. But in this case what happens? The nasal epithelium part is being attached, which is the upper part of the respiratory tract. But in this, the common cold, it does not attack to the lungs. So the inflammation of the lungs does not causes in the case of the common cold. So this is the main difference. Okay. So the various symptoms are, as we discussed in the common cold, simply coughing. You can also write coughing and sore throat. Coughing and sore throat. Okay, coughing, sore throat, nasal discharge, tiredness. Then the reason is your symptoms is your headache, and the pathogens directly attack to the nasal epithelium area, but which is the upper part of the respiratory tract. But the pathogens in the case of the common cold does not attack to the lungs. Next, the treatment, the common antibiotic that is used is your azithromycin, which is also being used also nowadays for the COVID treatment also. Okay. Next, when the prevention and control, the isolation of the patient is highly required. And lastly, the proper sanitization, or you can also write the proper sterilization of the contaminated substance which was used by the infected person can be properly sanitized or properly sterilized, by which it can be used by a healthy person. Okay. So today we discussed two diseases. One is firstly we discussed the pneumonia. We discussed the pneumonia, which is caused by generally by the bacteria and also by commonly some viruses also. Then we discussed various mode of infection, the treatment, prevention and control, and also in the case of the common cold, which is generally caused by the rhinovirus, and 200 species of virus are there which can cause the common cold, and the common cold is also known as rhinitis. Then in the common cold we discussed the mode of infection, then also we discussed the symptoms, prevention and the control, and also we discuss the treatment, means which antibiotic such as your azithromycin is mostly commonly used in the case of the common cold. Okay, so that's all for today. We will meet in our next class. Thank you.